So welcome back. We discussed two main topics in the previous lesson. One is how to lose weight. So I hope you know now what you have to do to lose weight. In this lesson, I want to talk about carbohydrate, fat, protein. We all are breathing in oxygen. We breathe out carbon dioxide. That carbon dioxide is outside. Human being doesn't have the ability to take carbon from that carbon dioxide. We don't have that ability, but plants have that ability. That's why we are dependent on plants. What plants will do is plant take that carbon dioxide because plant also want to grow. So plant take that carbon dioxide, keep that carbon in their body, in their cells, so that when there is too much carbon, the plant will grow. If there is no carbon, plant will not grow. We breathe out carbon dioxide, plant take that carbon dioxide, keep carbon there, release oxygen. It's a circle happening. So it's very amazing how the entire universal system is working in a very circle way. 6 carbon connected with 6 water molecules. So C6H12O6. That is the form of simple sugar. So your body is having a lot of this sugar. You may hear about fructose. What is fructose? Glucose and fructose, they both have the same chemical structure. That means they both have 6 carbons there. Rice is not fructose, right? Why? Rice is called what? Rice is called starches. Why starches? Because rice have almost 300 to 700 sugar molecules. So one sugar molecules, as I said, it is 6 carbon, but rice have almost 300 to 600 of this sugar molecules, and that's why it's called starches. Because when the plant take this carbon, it stores. It store. You know, when you eating a lot of sugar, your body have the ability to store that sugar in your blood, but there is a limited capacity. Your body cannot store too much of sugar, so your body have another way to store. Where it can store? It can store in your liver, it can store in your muscle, but there is again a limited amount you can store in the muscle and in the liver. Once that storage is over, where your body store that excess carbon, it's stored in the form of fat. So your body have 3 storage locations. So it's like, when you have a lot of money, what you normally do, we save in the bank. Imagine that the bank doesn't have any more space. What do we do? Similar situation, your body have 3 places. What you have to understand from this lesson is, so there is called carbohydrate. There is also fruit is considered as carbohydrate. So fruit and carbohydrate have same 6 carbons. There is also starches. Rice is considered as starches. There is also meat. What is meat called? Mostly called fat. Why? When you think about fat, what is a fat? Fat can store a lot of carbon there. Fat is also called triglyceride. Tri means 3 carbon chain connected with long chain of fatty acid. So a lot of energy can be stored in the fat. So when you are eating a little bit of salad, vegetable salad, that green salad doesn't have much carbon there compared to fruits. Fruits have more carbon there. But when you compare fruits with rice have more carbons. When you compare that rice with meat have a lot of carbons. So that now the question is, which one is very good for losing weight? So there is nothing called which one is better. Everything is good for losing weight. Whether you eat these 3 food, carbohydrate, fat or protein, or whether I eat carbohydrate, fat or protein, everything is good. But if we both eat more than what our body need, that extra is going to store in the form of fat. And that extra is why we are gaining too much big. We have a lot of fat. So a 60 kilogram person has to eat certain amount of food compared to a 100 kilograms person. So whether, I don't know what is your weight, but if you really want to lose weight, what you have to do, check how much you are eating. It doesn't matter what food you are eating, whether you are eating carbohydrate, fat or protein, anything extra your body is going to store in the form of fat. So now talking about carbohydrate, main purpose of carbohydrate, let me talk about a house as an example. So do you hear about the wise man story? A wise man always build house on the rock. Wise man doesn't build house on a mud. Why? Because the base of the house has to be always strong. If the base of the house, the outer layer of the house is not strong, what can happen? If a tsunami hit, or if a wind hit, or if a flood happen, if the house is not built on solid rock, that house can fall down very fast. That's why the story of wise man, a wise person, whether it is a girl making the house or guys making the house, if you don't build your house on a solid rock, that house will fall down. Similar like that, your body, some part of your body has to be very, very strong. Which part has to be very strong? Your body have a lot of cells. It's like similar like house. There are tiny houses. If you think about house, your body is having a lot of such houses, and that house is called cell. So if that cell wall is not very strong, what can happen? Anything can get in very fast. You can destroy that cell, right? So the cell wall has to be very strong. And then normally the cell wall is made up with fat, not with carbohydrate, with fat. And there is also other thing, few other things made up of protein. Maybe you heard about hormones. There are a lot of the hormones are made up with protein. Blood is also made up of protein. You hear about your nail. Your nail is very strong, right? Your hair is very strong also, right? If you take one hair and try to pinch, it's very strong. The hair is very strong. And the hair is also made up of protein. A lot of other things are made up of protein. When you're consuming food, this is why we say that you have to consume collection of the food. I don't know what is your feeling about food, but people are demonizing food because of some political and religious reason. So food is just food. The main purpose of food is to give us energy, to give some of the parts very strong. The society is making some of the things very evil. For example, my mother used to very afraid of egg, very afraid of fruits. Why? Because she thinks that fruit is going to make her problem. Egg is going to make her a lot of problem. But is it really true? No. Anything you consume more is going to make problems. So now there is a question about, which food is really good. So I will demonstrate that. So imagine you are in a very dark room and there is no light, everything dark there. You want to know what is in that room. Is there any danger there, or is there nothing to be worried? You want to know. So what we normally do, we just fire a matchbox, right? So you take a matchbox and you fire that. This is more than enough to just see what is in that. But if the house is really, really big, maybe you will not be able to see everything what is in that house. So what you normally do, maybe you have experience. So what we do, we just take a matchbox and we fire with this and we just watch, right? I hope you have this experience in your life, that you use a matchbox, fire a little bit of paper, and now imagine you want to make a cup of coffee. Are you going to make the coffee with this matchbox or this paper, or you are going to fire a wood? Most probably you are going to fire a wood to make that coffee, right? Because this is carbon. This is wood have carbon. This is having limited amount of carbon. Compared to this one also made up with wood. But compared to this one have more carbon. Compared to this one with a big piece of wood, that one have a lot of carbon. That's why that wood can fire a long time. So when you think about vegetables, when you think about fruits, when you think about a wood, you have to think about your fat. Now imagine that some of the things are very strong, as I said, right? This is a device. If I hit this one with my head, it will break my head, right? It's very strong. So now if I want to fire this one, can I fire with this paper? I can, but it may take a lot of time. So you have to understand that all these things it will give you that light, it will give you energy, it will produce that fire. But this have very short capacity compared to this. Compared to this one with the wood would have more capacity because there is more carbon there. So your body is going to use different energy sources. So most of the time your body is either depending on carbohydrate or fat for energy. So the main purpose of carbohydrate and fat is for energy. And fat, there is an extra thing, which is fat is also used for creating the cell membranes. So fat is also needed. Fat soluble vitamins your body will not be able to absorb if you are not consuming fat. So you need fat in certain amount, you need carbohydrate in certain amount, you also need protein in certain amount, because protein is used by your body for different function. For example, hair, nail, hormone production is all depends on protein. So your body also need protein. So how much all this need is explained in the next upcoming video, but in the next video I'm going to talk about what is going to happen when you eat, let's say, a piece of vegetable or piece of fruits or piece of fat or piece of carbohydrate or protein. What exactly is happening to your body. Process is called metabolism. So I'm going to explain metabolism in a little bit deep understanding way coming next.